Welcome to On the Chain.
Right off the bat, and here's one from Cryptolo: ice cream and oranges. Could be ice cream and lemons from the lemon tree, but said it'll only be crypto purgatory for the US. The world doesn't revolve around the SEC mafia. So, and then he has a follow up to that. But what are your comments on that one? Let's start with that.
I mean,
right there.
It's a really good point. I mean, it doesn't, but right now the price does. I mean, you talk about purgatory, it's gonna get stuck there, Jeff. So look, I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Like you said, the SEC keeps stepping in it. And they're like, there's something on my shoe. That's cool. I'll keep walking, and they step in it again. It's like they just never quite understand it. But
yeah, the other day I stepped in something and I looked down and it was the SEC.
Nice.
Here's another one.
As they say.
Ripple will haul ass overseas if the SEC keeps effing around that with them. And the only ones who will suffer as a result will be U.S. citizens or investors in XRP and really in general. The same citizens who fund the SEC via taxation. That's an interesting point. And I think to that level, and when we look at the impact that a negative outcome on the Ripple case will have for the entire crypto space at large in the US is detrimental only to the US, because these companies will flee in mass numbers overseas. Just as you see companies within the US that are moving and migrating state to state. There was just a big announcement that Tesla is moving from California to Texas. Big surprise there. But then if there's unfriendly legislation on crypto in the entire US, guess where they're going?
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense. But he's been toying with the idea for at least, I want to say, a year. He's floated the idea like, hey, man, I just might move to Texas. So, and Joe Rogan, he moved to Austin. It's like they're setting up. You guys don't know, just kind of like let our sort of not so familiar with the U.S. sort of thing. So, as you guys may or may not know, Texas is a red state. However, Austin, Texas, as their saying goes, let's keep it weird. So you're basically moving from a blue state to a blue city in a red state, right? It's kind of like this ecosystem of it is really weird. I've been there a couple times to Austin. It's great, but I'm just saying it's really weird. You have all these weird pockets, and Austin is one of them, right, Jeff?
That's it. It is weird. Austin.
Man, there's so much stuff going on today. I don't even know. Where do we start? It's for a Sunday, man.
Right there, XRP speedboat. He's saying, hey, everything's great. Just wonder who makes the thumbnails, Chip or Jeff?
We split them. It's mostly Jeff makes them. Like Jeff made tonight's one, but
lots of good stuff.
But during the week, most of the time Jeff does. Usually the only time I make them is if I'm going solo, or if we have a guest on the show. If it's a guest or something like that, I'll make it. But speaking of guests, I want to just go back to last Thursday, as last time you and I were together. But Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the questions you guys had, just really an outstanding stream. Great to have those guys on. And then earlier in the week, we had Matt Hamilton. You know him as at Hammertoe. We got to that origin story, which is pretty cool. So we had a really nice week. We got another week coming up. It's going to be just mostly, Jeff and I. But coming up on Thursday, we've got somebody coming in here. I had to tease a little bit. Somebody coming in here. I don't think he's ever done another interview. Not that I've seen, anyway. So maybe I'll leave it at that, and we'll just sort of.
And that'll be exciting too as we start rolling it out this week.
Yeah, we'll start rolling it out. So that's pretty exciting to happen on Thursday. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. So we're going to get there, and trying to land a couple other interviews too. We'll get there.
Hey, Chip, preparing for war. Just like where I'm from, I live in Laramie, Wyoming, and it's one of the only blue counties besides Jackson in my entire state. Now, that's interesting, but Wyoming also known for a very crypto-friendly state, and they recently passed some interesting legislation, and you have some interesting banking that's going on there with Kraken. You got the Kraken Bank. And there's going to be a lot going on over there. The Kraken.
Release the Kraken. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like there's always going to be like these pockets that just attract people, especially crazies and weirdos and stuff like that. But But Austin's still pretty mixed, but I would say it leans probably heavily 80-20 left. But depends what county you're in, depends where you're at in there and everything else. But a lot of industry has been moving there for a long time. I remember here living in Boca Raton, in Florida here for the longest time. IBM basically owned Boca until they like packed everything up and moved to Austin. That was like the first one. And then a lot of other companies followed suit. And of course, Elon Musk, I mean, right off the bat, tax-wise, they'll save a ton of money just there. And Jeff, do you think it was by coincidence that he moved there? Because do you see how that they cut him out? They wanted to create in that one bill. They wanted to give a big break to somebody who bought an electric car, like a $6,000 break, if they bought it from a manufacturer that had a union. Tesla doesn't have a union. So it looks like it was one of these sort of incentives that was going against Tesla. Like, hey, you're not union. And since you're not union, these people aren't going to get this incentive. Well, he's like, you know what? I'll just pack my stuff and leave. I don't, and I'll probably make up the difference with the savings in tax. So thanks, but
yeah, thanks for no thanks, and I'm out of here.
Thanks, but no thanks. Nobody needs your stinking, incentive. And I don't even know if that's going to go through, but it is interesting to see some of the weird stuff that's going on. I mean, definitely for a fact.
Crypto surfers talking about Liechtenstein. What a great place. And that's
I was talking
a
today,
good place to set a lot of things up, Chip. Yeah.
I was talking with my buddy today about crypto. We were talking about Portugal. We're like, hey, maybe Portugal seems like a really cool place. I love Portugal. I found when I was there, like they really have underrated wine. It's like you usually hear about Spain or France or but I have to say it's really good. But I'm thinking, the people are pretty friendly. I don't speak Portuguese. What could go wrong, Jeff? It sounds like the perfect thing to do. Everything can go wrong.
They might speak English over there.
Well, I live in a farm somewhere.
There you go. What else
in
do
the
you
country?
Need? Hey, so Ken is asking a question here. He said, when Deaton and Hogan were on the chain, do you think the judges and lawyers on both sides were listening?
I don't think they care, to be honest with you. I mean, what are your thoughts, Jeff? I really don't. Who knows? I do think other people were listening, though.
I'm sure there's definite, people listening in, and if Deaton is coming on, they're always probably looking to find out some details. But I'm hoping that some of the publicity and maybe even people from Fox Business or Fox Nation were listening in. That'd be awesome. But regardless, we have the smartest people in the crypto space all tuning in to listen, and that's all that matters. That's
they
the
could have been
most
secretly,
thing, right?
Well, we think Gensler comes in and always gives us the thumb down. Like it starts
100%. That's
like before we even come on, Jeff. There's like they got a thumbs down like every single time.
Waiting.
Thumbs down waiting for you. It's like, hello. It's that Gary Gensler with the hands on the hips. Put your hands on the hips.
So Crypto Surfer saying, let's talk about Liechtenstein or LCX. I don't know if that's Liechtenstein.
No, LCX I think isn't LCX a coin? Let's go this one here. Look at this one here from EC.2189 KQ. Thank you for that. He said, the sooner this ends, we win. The sooner we can fight back on other fronts. Since they can't control how we make and spend our money, generate new wealth. Right on. Yeah, the sooner it ends, we win. And I think no matter what happens to this thing, we're going to end up winning because I don't think any of us could have predicted the backlash that's happening. It's just this uprising. And it's just not in crypto. It's pretty much everywhere, right? So, Jeff, I love this story about, and it's just because I have a cartoon that I want to talk about, and I have a tweet I want to show too that kind of plays into this. But Southwest Airlines here, which thank God my brother was in town last weekend. Thank God he got home because he would have flown Southwest back to Texas. But Southwest put out like this official statement saying because of weather patterns and everything else, we had to cancel 1,000 flights. And we're like, well, how come your airline's the only airline affected nationwide by weather outages? What it turned out to be was there was a massive sick out because they weren't that thrilled about some kind of a forced which a mandate really, let's face it, it's really when two gentlemen go out for a nice dinner, that's a mandate right there.
That is a mandate.
As we learned from Joel when he was on here. But Jeff, it's like it's kind of like, if you said somebody like, hey, Jeff, I really like that shirt, that black shirt you have on. Like, it's not black, it's orange. Dude, I mean, we'll sit there and have another argument about it. But like, why would you argue about something that everybody already knows the reason, right? You can't have one airline affected by weather nationally and then no other airlines are. It's just I just don't even think they're just not even thinking anymore. It doesn't even make sense.
That is true. But look at XRP Speedboat is saying, since we're in purgatory, the SEC probably listened to last Thursday's show backwards to hear any hidden message. And we did
That's
put
a
them
good
in there.
idea.
So if you go back to the show, you might get some special insight on the direction of the crypto market.
That
If you
is a
listen to it
really
backwards.
good idea, Jeff.
Can you even play videos backwards anymore? Is that possible?
Videos? I don't know. I mean, you probably can. I mean,
Or
I would
let it do
imagine.
audio? I mean, before you take the record, you could
Yeah, the backward masking. It was like, you're like, he said hello there, Satan. It's like, no, it sounds like, you know what I mean? It was like not even close. But this is
right.
how they roll sometimes, Jeff. This is how
That's it.
things happen.
That's it. Mohammed is saying the SEC knows the real value of XRP. That's why they're making sure that less people hold it and just want to suppress the little guy. Sounds
Kind of look what happened to isn't it amazing sort of what happened with
right.
little run up there out of nowhere? For what reason? It's like, so something really good happens in the case and you get a bump of a penny or two, and then all of a sudden it starts moving. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. You can't predict it. I mean, yeah, the TNA guys, the technical analysis that do, and a lot of them will call it, blockchain backers, the best probably in the business that there is. And but I mean, it doesn't make, to me, I mean, he can read the charts and say, well, here's what I see is going to happen. But I'm thinking like it doesn't move on news necessarily. He's looking at, patterns and stuff. But I don't necessarily see like anything happening outside of that, Jeff, which is I find is odd.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.